Championship drag racing. South Louisiana's famed greenery, the lush swamplands, water, trees, and palmettos stretching for miles, and near Baton Rouge, a massive racing facility has been carved out of the swamps, bringing thousands of spectators to State Capitol Raceway for the Cajun Nationals. The huge crowd has been treated to some spectacular qualifying action. The leader in the World Championship points chase, Gary Beck, heads the top fuel field. Mark Oswald, driving for the hometown team of Candies and Hughes, leads Funny Car, and Warren Johnson holds down the #1 spot in Pro Stock. Working with me, as always, is Steve Evans.
David, it is hot, it is humid, and it is jam-packed. You couldn't get one more Louisiana drag racing fan in the State Capitol Dragway. They are parked on the banks of the bayous for miles around, looking forward to eliminations that are about to begin. Now, qualifying was concluded last night, and among the Pro Stock cars, it's that incredible Oldsmobile of Warren Johnson, #1 at 769, 177 miles per hour. Among the nitro-burning Funny Cars, Mark Oswald, who won Top Fuel here a year ago, well, he is now the driver of the new Candies and Hughes Funny Car, putting him on the roll with a track record of 590 in Top Fuel. The unbelievable Gary Beck, another track record, another pole position at 5.58 seconds, 244 miles an hour. I had a chance earlier to talk to all three low qualifiers among the pros. Your impressions of the problems you face today as far as the weather and the racetrack?
Well, I think that right now it doesn't look like it's going to be as hot as we anticipated, which I think is good for us. And I expect to see the 550 performance in the first round.
Considering that 1 year ago here you were the dragster champion, it's got to feel very good when they say #1 qualifier in Funny Car, Mark Oswald.
Yeah, things are looking a lot better for us now. You know, we struggled the first couple races, but now the car's really performing good, and we also got the consistency which we need.
Tell me about, what was the hardest thing for you as a driver making that transition from the rear engine dragster to the front motor Funny Car?
Oh, I'd have to say the motor being in front of you and sitting behind it, you see the clutch dust come up off the can, and you see the body shake around. There's a lot of distractions. It's just hard to concentrate on what you're doing. You got to learn to put that out of your mind.
Tell me about the racetrack. How important is the racetrack, and what are your feelings about the racetrack as far as the Pro Stock cars concerned?
Well, the biggest problem that we have is if they run the nitro cars before us is oil down conditions on the track. That's what really bothers these. It probably bothers these more than really the fuel cars, in fact, from the fact that we don't have the power that they do to drive through a slippery condition. Our cars, with the limited power that we've got, will veer one way or the other if it's an oil down to one side of the lane or the other. So it probably affects us more than most people.
The three top pros are ready for competition at the 1983 Cajun Nationals, brought to you by Motorcraft. Quality parts for all makes of cars, Motorcraft exceeds the need. And by Goodyear, makers of Eagle high-performance radials and Wrangler all-season radials for light trucks. And by McGuire's Car Wax. For over 50 years, McGuire's quality waxes and polishes have been the choice of car care professionals. We'll be right back for the start of racing at the Cajun Nationals.
When America wanted a go-anywhere radial for light trucks, Goodyear came through with the all-season Wrangler.
I've got Goodyear, I'm riding on #1.
The go-anywhere Wrangler. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear, I'm riding on #1. I've got Goodyear, I'm riding on #1.
You can wax a car the hard way. Rubbing and rubbing, and buffing, or wax the easy way with McGuire's Fast Finish. McGuire's waxes your car in just minutes with no buffing. Then enjoy a deep,
beautiful shine even a professional would be proud of. The Guire's fast finish, no buff spray or no buff paste. The effortless way to a long-lasting professional shine.
Beep, beep.
There's a spirit in the air. Find out how you can be part of it. Aim high. Air Force.
Time takes you beyond the news.
Time flies, and you are there. Time cries, and lets you care. You understand the world we share.
When you read Time each week, you know more. You understand.
Throughout your world, throughout your land, time puts it all right in your hand. Read Time and understand.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dave McClelland, and this overflow crowd is waiting with great anticipation in 90-degree heat here at the Cajun Nationals for the start of racing. As you can hear behind me, the top fuel dragsters are getting set for the start of first-round elimination. Our first pair of cars finds an interesting matchup as Gene Snow out of Fort Worth, Texas, comes up against Joe Amato. Gene Snow, driving the Black Gold Special, dropped out of drag racing after a number of years, is one of the finest funny car racers, back now in a top fuel car. For Joe Amato, he moved up through the ranks and is one of the rising superstars of the sport. The two top fuel dragsters, having completed their burnout, back to the starting line as the drivers go through the preparations necessary to get them prepared for the blast down the quarter mile. These cars, with over 2,000 horsepower at their disposal, are capable of speeds well over 250 miles an hour and can cover the quarter mile in less than 5.5 seconds, all of that from a standing start. The tubular chassis, the engines, the drivetrain combination adds up to a total weight of about 1,800 pounds, making them the quickest and fastest cars in all of championship drag racing. Gene Snow beginning now to concentrate on the start and the Christmas tree. His competitor, Joe Amato, doing exactly the same thing. The crews have done their work. Joe Amato nods, he's ready, puts down his face visor. The two lights at the top of the electronic Christmas tree are lit in Gene Snow's lane, indicating he's ready. Joe Amato's ready, and Gene Snow with a hole shot, he pulls away at the start. But Amato makes it close at the finish line, but Gene Snow, the winner, 5.77 seconds. His speed, 243 miles an hour, as Gene Snow advances into round number 2 racing. The three-time world champion in top fuel racing, Shirley Muldowney, headlines our next pair of cars. Shirley will be racing Denver Chutes. Chutes is beginning the chase after those national event points at this event, having been in the Southern California area for the most part, hailing from Fresno. Shirley Muldowney out of Mount Clemens, Michigan, has done what no other racer has been able to do. That is put together more than one top fuel world championship. In fact, she's won 3. Earlier today, Steve had a chance to talk about her number 3 qualifying position.
So many times we have seen you come from this number 3 or number 4 qualified position to win the race. You've got to feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, we haven't qualified number 1 in a long time. I can't remember the last time, but the pole, so to speak, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the race.
Shirley expressing confidence that her number 3 spot will do well for Denver Chutes, the number 7 qualifier. He is concerned with getting past this first round of racing. For Shirley, what a story. She began her career actually street racing in Schenectady, New York, worked her way through the Sportsman ranks. She has driven a fuel-burning, nitro-burning funny car and is now the reigning top fuel world champion. Denver Chutes teaming up with his new partner, Mark Danicus, in a car called the Raisin Express, and that refers to Denver being a raisin grower up in the Fresno area. This is a new team. They're starting their national event circuit here at Cajun Nationals as Mark Danicus checks everything over. Shirley Muldowney, her crew wiping down the tires for the final time. Shirley, a picture of concentration, sitting inside the roll cage of that Top Fuel dragster, watching the starting line light. The Christmas tree goes green, and Shirley leaves ahead of Denver Chutes and extends that lead to take the win easily with a 5.82 second elapsed time. Her speed, 238 miles an hour. Just a few moments ago, we saw Gene Snows defeat Joe Amato. Steve is with Gene.
Well, once you can get through this first round, you feel like you're really cooking, huh?
Yeah, that's the worst round. I'm telling you, that was close, probably about 5 or 6 feet.
Did you see him all the way down?
Well, right about the middle. He pulled right up there, and then we ran the same mile an hour right to the finish line. It was plenty close.
What kind of drag races you like to be in, huh?
Love them when you're in front.
You used to do this for a living. Now you do it for fun. What's the difference?
A lot less pressure. You don't have the sponsors you have to answer to and all that stuff. If you win, it's wonderful because you did it. If you lose, it's not quite as bad.
And the nice thing is there's no black gold out of this motor on the racetrack either.
Right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Gene Snow, an oil and gas company owner from Fort Worth, Texas. This man is Larry Miner. He is a potato grower from the Southern California area. His competition is a warehouse performance parts owner from San Antonio, and that is Jody Smart. Our Top Fuel dragster field is made up of 2 cars that look very similar, and this man owns both of them. This is Larry Miner. He calls San Jacinto, California home. Jody Smart from San Antonio has yet to win his first national event, but he has been runner-up several times, is long overdue for a major championship win. Earlier, Steve talked with Jody.
Well, first round, Jody Smart, you qualified number 2, but anytime you race one of those bad blue cars, it's got to concern you.
Well, that's true, and we haven't had a real good record with Gary, and it'll be the first time, though, that we've had to run Larry. Cars capable of running 551, which they ran earlier this year in Gainesville, and we'll definitely have to run good to outrun them. We real consistent this weekend and real happy with the car, but we'll have our hands full.
And this is the car and driver that Jody Smart will have more than just his hands full. Larry Miner, he has been a racer in many types of sports. Moving into drag racing this year for Jody Smart, his partner J.E. Christick, the engine builder, has put together one of the finest combinations in Top Fuel racing. Jody Smart in the far lane, Larry Miner in the near lane. The burnout's completed. The burnout's designed to get these tires as hot as they can to provide as much traction for that over 2,000 horsepower available to propel these cars just 1,320 feet. Both drivers are ready. And it is Larry Miner off the starting line first. It looked like some problems with the engine on Jody Smart, but not a problem one for Larry Miner. His speed was over 238 miles an hour, but most important, he only took 5.69 seconds to cover a quarter of a mile distance from a standing start. Larry Miner winning his first round race as back at the starting line. The second half of the Larry Miner team has come to life. This is the one driven by Gary Beck. He is currently the points leader in the Top Fuel World Championship points chase. He'll be racing Richard Tharp. Gary Beck, a former 2-time national champion, is hot on the trail of that Top Fuel World Championship this season from El Toro, California, while Richard Tharp, after laying out of the sport for about a year, is back with one of the finest cars he has ever had the opportunity to drive. A lot of people are wondering, can Gary Beck win it? And one of those most interested in the outcome is Larry Miner.
Well, there's no one more interested in this next race than the car owner of the Gary Beck mount, Larry Miner. Larry, you've won with the 569. Now you need to get both these blue cars into the semis.
That's right. Things would be working perfect for us. In the past 3 races, we've always qualified on the same side of the ladder. Well, this time we're on the opposite side, so it gives me a chance to beat somebody and maybe help Beck out along the way.
Or if Gary should go away, it might give you a chance to win your first race.
Well, we might get that lucky.
Larry Miner, having won his first round race, is now watching his hired driver, the man that is currently leading that points chase. Gary Beck, he is in the near lane. Richard Tharp in the bright red machine, owned by a team of Kilpatrick and Cannell. already stayed. And a great start for both cars. Losing traction is Richard Tharp. And Beck took advantage of that miscue, and the wheel, the tire. The car dropping down on the nose for Richard Tharp. He is over into Gary Beck's lane. He pulls back, goes off the racetrack at over 251 miles an hour. Richard Tharp doing a masterful driving job, keeping out of Gary Beck's way. As we go back and watch again, Beck about a car length and a half ahead. Richard Tharp at over 251 miles an hour throws the tire, and then the wheel breaks off. Is still attached by the front suspension components. The car drops down on its nose, and the sparks rolling out from underneath the car. From another angle, we can see this wheel just laid back. There he is over into Beck's lane, and Richard just drives it back into his lane. It goes off the racetrack, into the dirt, in the grass, and then back onto the asphalt. A tremendous driving job by Richard Tharp.
Richard Tharp is out of his race car. Okay, the NHRA safety safari arriving on the scene. Richard did a nice job of driving, keeping this car upright, and it appears that it might have thrown a front tire off, something that has been happening more and more these days. When that happened, the front end suspension just kind of shredded, and we'll try to get that word from Richard himself. But one of the greatest drag races ever, a 568 to a 569 with Gary Beck taking the win. Right now, Richard is, I'm sure, a lot more concerned about his magnificent racer that took quite a bit of punishment sliding to a stop down here. Richard, you're all right, obviously?
Yeah, I'm all right.
What happened?
I don't know. It looks like a front spindle broke.
Was it the tire that came off?
Tire came off first, yeah. And then I just saw the tire come up, and I saw the wheel collapse. I don't really know what happened.
One heck of a drag race, that's for sure.
Yeah, what do you run?
568 here, 69.
Where it goes.
And obviously dejected Richard Tharp, losing to Gary Beck in the first round of racing. Maybe just a bit more dejected than we think. Richard Tharp doing a great job keeping that car out of trouble. Here's our pairings for the semifinals. Gary Beck against Shirley Muldowney. Gene Snow against Larry Minor. We'll be right back with funny car racing at the Cajun Nationals.
When I played football, I had a lot of great days. I call them my lucky brute days. Now I've traded in my shoulder pads and helmet, but one part of my wardrobe hasn't changed. Brute cologne. You know why? Because of my new line of work, I still get called upon to throw passes. My receivers are a lot better looking.
Cut! You have to do it again, Joe.
Today's your brute day. It's your lucky brute day. Today.
You don't run million-dollar experiments with a cheaply made oil filter. The filter in this advanced motor car, Motorcraft FL1A, engineered to outperform. Motorcraft FL1A lasts longer, traps more abrasives than any other leading filter. Quality parts for all makes of cars. Motorcraft exceeds the need.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it
fresh. We'll only serve you plump, wholesome chicken that's just been cooked.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it
special. Only original recipe chicken is cooked under pressure with a Colonel's 11 herbs and spices, so the seasonings are squeezed into each juicy bite.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do it
every day. So our tangy coleslaw is always as fresh as can be.
We're talking crisp.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken rice.
Monday, an unseen force attacks a frozen outpost.
I'm afraid that window guy will be froze to death.
He died of boredom.
That's what's been eating you, Robert. You've got no mystery to solve.
But the evil lurking here is turning a mystery into a horror story.
There's something here.
Eli Wallach, Robert Culp.
There's nothing unnatural here or supernatural. It's just you and me.
You really believe that?
Would anyone survive a cold night's death Monday after baseball?
At State Capitol Raceway near Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'm Dave McClelland, along with Steve Evans, and this huge crowd is ready for funny car racing at the NHRA Cajun Nationals. And no one is more interested in the outcome of this race than Janie Oswald, the new bride of Mark Oswald, the #1 qualifier, a hometown favorite and driver for the Candies and Hughes team in their brand new funny car. He is the defending Top Fuel champion here at the Cajun Nationals, but for this season of racing, Paul Candies and Leonard Hughes have put together a Pontiac Trans Am that has taken the #1 qualifying spot. In this first round race, Mark Oswald will be racing Billy Meyer, also driving a Pontiac bodied car. Mark Oswald hails from Cincinnati, Ohio. Well, Billy Meyer, he started at the age of 16 and has done nothing but get better, based in Waco, Texas. Earlier today, Steve had a chance to talk to Billy.
Billy, you look at the lineup of this field or any field this year, and you got to be impressed with the quality of the competition.
It's gotten quite a bit better, especially with the non-automotive sponsors coming in and helping the finances for a lot of the teams, and it's just made everything a lot more competitive.
All right, in the first round, there's other cars you'd rather race, I think, than Mark Oswald.
Well, yeah, right now he is, I think all year he's been running low ET at a lot of different races we've been at. The only thing that I have on our side is he's had about the same jinx that we have is in first-round competition in NHRA.
And a great start for Mark Oswald. Billy Meyer inching close to the center line. He drives away from it. Mark Oswald drives straight down the racetrack. His time may be a bit disappointing to him, though. Only 6.21 seconds elapsed time. His speed just 229 miles an hour. But it really doesn't matter. He got across that finish line first and advances into the semifinals. Our next pair of cars already started. Kenny Bernstein in the near lane as the fiberglass body lowered down over that nitro-burning engine, sitting in front of the drivers in these funny cars. They are encased in a fiberglass replica body. This the Mercury LN7 for Kenny Bernstein. In the far lane against Bernstein in his first round race is Dale Poldy. He drives an 83 Pontiac Trans Am buddy car. Kenny Bernstein originally started his racing career in Waco, Texas, dropped out a few years, came back, and is now based in Dallas. For Dale Poldy, he is a Southern California racer all the way. In the San Fernando Valley, Van Nuys, California is home base. Steve has had a chance to catch up with our first round winner, Mark Oswald.
Mark Oswald coming out of his fire suit on a hot day like this, that's the first thing you want to shed, even before the helmet. So Mark's going to be tickled, obviously, to have gotten through the first round, but Mark, a 6:21 is not what you wanted.
Oh, yeah, it was sick. Didn't have any power at all. We got a little bit lucky there. I don't really know what happened to Billy.
Why did the car fall off, do you think?
Oh, it just went real flat there in the middle. We're going to have to find out. It doesn't look like it burned it up or anything like that. You know, we're going to have to get back and check it real quick.
Too soon to tell, but it could cost you lane choice. Is that going to be a factor on this track?
Yeah, it's liable to be. I'd rather have got it, and, you know, we'll just have to see.
Okay, here comes your crew.
Mark Oswald's wife, Janie, just a bit camera shy for our Diamond B cameras on the starting line. Nobody's camera shy. Kenny Bernstein and Dale Poldy. They're set. The crew's making their final checks, but it's all up to the driver at this point. He has got to put the proper combination of leading at just the right moment at the right RPM and then drive it as hard as he can for that finish line. And what a race this is. Kenny Bernstein in the near lane wins it by about a car length and a half with an outstanding 6.02 second elapsed time and his speed over 242 miles an hour. Off the starting line, they were very close, but later down the track, as you can see, Kenny Bernstein pulls away from Dale Poldy to take that all-important first-round win.
Well, Kenny Bernstein is going to be delighted with a win and a final lap time of 6:02, but now he discovers that there's a huge puddle of oil coming out of this car and apparently has knocked a rod through either the side of the block or out of the pan, and Kenny right now concerned about keeping the parachute dry and getting out of this oil. The one thing you really hate to do in these 8-car shows is have to change engines once you get one dialed in as well as this one was dialed in, and I know Kenny well enough to know that that's what's going through his mind right now, too, that anytime they've got oil coming out of them like that, the chances of changing them are very, very great. And Kenny, a nice 6:02, but we hurt one here.
It broke. It's got the rods out the side. Right when I shut off, right after the finish line, it just quivered real hard and shook, and I said, that's it.
So you had a feeling this had happened when you felt it shake in the light?
Yeah, it'll give you that warning. Sometimes it just shakes. I mean, you're coming apart, and you know it, yeah.
I know you've got more engines in your trailer, and you'll put one in, but you hate to do that in these 8-car shows.
Yeah, you really hate to. But all the engines are basically the same, and the fuel systems are, and it's just a lot of work. I think the crew can make it happen. It's just that, unfortunately, you have to change.
We'll check on you in the pits. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You're right, Steve. We'll keep a close eye on Kenny Bernstein and his crew back at the pits as he gets ready for the second round of racing. But here's another pair in our first round matchup. Ken Veeney in the far lane in the Red Rocket against Don the Snake Prudhomme, one of the all-time greats. Veeney out of Wadsworth, Ohio, one of the true innovators in all of drag racing. His competition, though, the toughest of them all, Don Prudhomme from Granada Hills, California, the man they call the Snake, has won more funny car titles than any other racer in history. His brilliant yellow and white Pontiac Trans Am for Prudhomme, while Veeney, driving a Pontiac Trans Am bodied car, has got his entry dialed into this track. Qualifying very well in this 8-car field. That's the difficult part, they say, is just making the field. Then, of course, you got the pressure mounting to win this first round, because if you lose now, it's put it in the trailer and head for home. For Don Prudhomme, the near lane. The burnouts are over. It's up to him. Ken Veeney in the far lane. Both cars leaving the line and into smoke, instantly losing traction near the center line. And it is Don Prudhomme recovering first and wins the race. And I'll tell you, Don Prudhomme probably doesn't even care what the elapsed time is. He did the important thing, and that is get to that finish line first. Both cars lose traction instantly as soon as the horsepower is applied. Prudhomme very near disqualification. That center line, if he had crossed it, he would have been out of this race at that point. But he has recovered, has got a little bit of traction, maybe some engine problems, but he crosses the finish line well ahead of Ken Veeney and wins the race. Don Prudhomme.
Don Prudhomme comes out of the car and immediately starts checking the fuel injection nozzles down at the manifold and also in the injector, apparently suspicious that one of them might have been loose or broken because it was dropping a cylinder, and he has found one. So even in the cockpit, Don Prudhomme had a feeling why it was not running well on at least one cylinder, and you can see the broken port line.
Steve, that shows the experience of a Don Prudhomme to immediately start looking for the problem. It could have cost him the race, but in this time, he won it. The body of the Corvette of Tom the Mongoose McEwen comes down. His 2,000 horsepower engine is thundering away in this humid Louisiana atmosphere. And the tires getting hot as he smokes them out of the burnout area. Competition is Al Sacrini. Sacrini is driving a Pontiac Trans Am. McEwen, they call him the Mongoose. He and the Snake teamed up years ago in one of the great racing matchups. Al Sacrini out of southeastern Massachusetts. One of the finest East Coast racers traveling this national event circuit on NHRA Championship drag racing trail. The stop here at the Cajun Nationals, all important, as it's about midway through the points chase for the world champion title. Tom McEwen and Al Sacrini. Who will come out on top? We will know in just about 6 seconds. A great race at this point. It could be anybody's race. It is Sacrini pulling it out at the finish line with a fine 6.07 seconds elapsed time. His speed, 240 miles an hour plus. Look at the two cars, the gyrations and the twisting and the movement of the bodies and the chassis as those huge tires just glue themselves to the asphalt. At the state capitol dragway, streaking across the finish line is Al Sacrini, the winner.
Just some tremendous funny car competition here in the initial round. And Al Sacrini, that was one of the best races of the day, a 6:07 to a 6:11.
Oh, I'm telling you. Well, the Goose and I, we tangled in Atlanta. And he ran 6:06 to my 6:02. I mean, we've had some great races, the Goose and me. I was ahead of him on the starting line, but I knew the Goose could run down the other end. I said, I'm not shutting her off early. He'll be coming. As soon as the chute hit, I seen the red fender. He was in the area.
Well, 6-0 may be enough to win this one with this weather and this track.
Well, Steve, back at the trailer, we talked about that. We said, let's forget about trying to run 580, trying to tear the tires off it. Let's run 6-0s. We can win this race. So we did. We put a 6-0 in it, and it paid off. I'm really happy.
You're one step closer. Al Sacrini.
If Sacrini can continue to figure out this racetrack as well as he did in the first round, he may be in the finals. Bernstein against Sacrini, Oswald against Prudhomme in the semis of money car racing at the Cajun Nationals.
From
from the dusty deserts of Baja through the sound barrier, the Budweiser racing teams always play to win.
How do you get a kid who's shut off to open up? Support the Boys Clubs of America. Help turn a kid around.
Next summer, athletes from all over the world will come to Los Angeles to compete in the 1984 Olympic Games. And right now at Miller's Outpost, when you purchase any Levi's product, you'll receive this Levi's Olympic logo lapel pin while supplies last. And while you're there, enter the Olympics Levi's Style Sweepstakes and vote for your choice of outfits for the official parade uniform of the United States Olympic Games. Details and entry forms at Miller's Outpost, where you always finish a winner.
Now, from the heart of the Silicon Valley comes a new force in automotive sales and service. Normandin Chrysler Plymouth, with galactic savings on fantastic cars like a new 1983 Colt two-door hatchback for $48.87, or a super $2,100 discount off this Chrysler New Yorker. You could save hundreds, even thousands of dollars this week at the new Normandin Chrysler Plymouth, 900 West Capitol Expressway near Almaden, San Jose. In all this world, there's only one, Normandin.
The Louisiana heat and humidity beginning to take its toll on Kenny Bernstein and his crew, as a lot of effort is being put forth to get their car ready for the next round of racing in Funny Car Eliminator. Bernstein, as you remember, broke an engine in the first round, and Steve Evans is in the pit watching all this action.
In the Kenny Bernstein pit area lays a dead soldier. The engine from the first round has been removed out of the car. That's what the racers call putting a rod out the side. A big hole in the side of the engine. It can be fixed to fight another day, but useless as far as the Cajun Nationals is concerned. So, a new engine has gone into the Budweiser King. They took the blower, injectors, and fuel system off the original motor, bolted onto this one, and now they just hope that it will perform as well in round number 2.
While Kenny and his crew work in the pits to get ready for that second round of Funny Car Eliminator, there's been other racing going on in the Sportsman Eliminator category. A pair of Louisiana racers, Danny Doty from Baton Rouge and Ronnie Cardwell from Ruston, Louisiana, in the Stock Eliminator final. In the Sportsman category racing, the Stock Eliminator champ, Danny Doty. In Super Stock Eliminator, David Rampey from Alabama, driving a GTO, paired off against Don Brown's 70 Barracuda, and the winner, David Rampey in Super Stock Eliminator. The Super Gas category saw David Simmons racing Bobby Shattuck. Simmons, out of Georgia, drives the 77 Vega. He had an easy go of it as he defeated Tyler, Texas' own Bobby Shattuck in his 78 Ford Fairmont. The Super Gas champion, David Simmons. In Competition Eliminator, Roy Johnson from Greenville, Tennessee, had an easy go of it as Sonny Ray from Piedmont, Alabama, left a big red light at the starting line, leaving too soon and automatically giving the win to Roy Johnson. Top Alcohol Funny Car Final pitted Steve McCracken from Fullerton, California, against Ronnie Young from Garland, Texas. Young in the far lane has a close race on his hands, but Steve McCracken's engine went away. Ronnie Young, the Top Alcohol Funny Car winner. In Top Alcohol dragster, Bubba Sewell from Spring, Texas, is against Darrell Gwynn in the far lane from Miami, Florida. Two of the best in the country meeting in the finals. It's a red light for Darrell Gwynn, automatically giving the win to Bubba Sewell, the champion in Top Alcohol dragster. Our Our congratulations go to all of the Cajun National champions in the Sportsman Eliminator category. In Pro Stock Eliminator, we are to the semifinal round of racing, and this is truly the crowd pleasers. The factory hot rods, Fords and Chevrolets. The Ford Thunderbird of Bob Glidden against the Chevy Camaro of Frank Iaconio, two of the world's best. Frank Iaconio from Totowa, New Jersey, driving his powerful Camaro. Iaconio will be racing the winningest drag racing driver of all time, Bob Glidden of Whiteland, Indiana. Glidden in his brand new Ford Thunderbird, Iaconio in his Camaro, and it's a red light for Glidden. He loses right at the starting line. He left too soon, automatically disqualifying him. Iaconio moves into the Pro Stock Finals with a fine elapsed time of 7.84 seconds, but a very disappointed Bob Glidden heads his Thunderbird back to the pit and hopes there'll be a better day coming at the next event. Our next pair in the semifinals, the Camaro of Lee Shepard against the Oldsmobile of the #1 qualifier, Warren Johnson. Johnson has his work cut out for him, though, as this man, Lee Shepard of Arlington, Texas, is the reigning world champion. Earlier this season, Warren Johnson debuted his brand new Oldsmobile, and he has it in peak form as he qualified at the top of the field. Both cars are ready. A great start for Lee Shepard. He has about a half a car length lead. Can he hold on, or can the #1 qualifier pass him? And it is Lee Shepard winning it. 7.82 seconds. His speed, 177 miles an hour. As we watch again, you'll see the advantage of the good launch. Lee Shepard got off the starting line just a hair ahead of Warren Johnson. And it pays off through the entire quarter mile, and particularly at the finish line, with less than a car length victory over Warren Johnson, who was the #1 qualifier. Lee Shepard, one of the finest drivers ever to go down a quarter-mile racetrack, pulls out another big win. His elapsed time actually slower than Warren Johnson, but he reached the finish line first. That's one count. In the Pro Stock Finals, Iaconio against Shepard. We'll be right back.
When America wanted a high-performance radial that could handle wet weather, Goodyear came through with the Eagle GT.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
The high-performance Eagle GT. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1. I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
X16 right. At my football school, I teach the finer points of the game. And that training doesn't end on the field. Brute 33 left. And I show them how Brute 33 antiperspirant solid helps keep you dry and gives you long-lasting deodorant protection. Brute 33 right. And it's got the great smell of Brute. I teach my guys everything I know. Well, almost everything.
Make every day your Brute Day with Brute 33 deodorants and antiperspirants.
Here's What's Special with Terry Lowry and Fred Lacoste on AM San Francisco. Weekday mornings at 9 on Channel 7.
We've got an interesting week ahead on AM.
Boy, I'd say we do. In fact, we're going to meet some runaways who tell why they left the security of home for prostitution and panhandling on the streets.
Psychic Gilbert Holloway joins us on Wednesday.
Thursday, a doctor says America's most popular diets are not only unhealthy, he says they're dangerous.
And Friday, a peek into America's bedrooms to see what married women say about their sex lives.
That's all this week on AM.
Everything you need to know. Channel 7 KGO. Information you can use. It's all on Channel 7 News. Channel 7 goes everywhere. For everything the world has got to show. For everything you need to know. Channel 7 KGO.
Channel 7 News.
Back at the Cajun Nationals, I'm Dave McClelland along with Steve Evans, and this is the semifinal round of racing in Top Fuel Eliminator. Larry Minor against Gene Snow. Snow, several times a funny car champion, made quite a name for himself in drag racing's formative years, then dropped out to develop his own oil company and came back to the sport of championship drag racing in one of the best Top Fuel dragsters ever. He is racing a man that has two cars here. This is Larry Minor, driving what they call the B car. But it has made it past the first round into the semifinals against Gene Snow. Minor, a former boat racer and sand drag racer, has the advantage over Snow, and he holds on to the finish line. It is Minor winning and moving into the finals with a 5.70 second elapsed time. Larry turned over 238 miles an hour on that run. This is Minor's first year behind the wheel of a Top Fuel dragster, but he's had this man driving for him for the past 4 seasons. Gary Beck is currently leading the quest for the world champion title, a title he has held previously. He is racing in the semifinals the reigning world champion, Shirley Muldowney. Steve Evans has had a chance to catch up with Beck's car owner.
Larry Minor crawls out of the blue car, going into his first ever final round. But of course, it's only his first ever season driving a Top Fuel dragster, and he wants that helmet off, not just to talk to us, but to watch back up on the starting line. For his driver, Gary Beck, meets Shirley Muldowney. But first, Larry Minor, congratulations, a 570.
Oh, thank you very much. That's a good run. Yeah, okay. No, I'm really excited. This is something...
I bet I don't have to ask you who you'd like to race in the final, do I?
Well, it's what we all dream about, you know, but we'll see here in a couple of minutes.
Shirley Muldowney's going to be a tough customer. She put a new engine in her car just to go after Gary in your car.
That's what I heard, but she hurt the other one, so that's, you know, she didn't do it just to go after that. She had a hurt one.
Okay.
It's a brand new engine in Shirley Muldowney's car. Gary Beck is the #1 qualifier. He has consistently been #1 at the last several major championship events and is the quickest Top Fuel dragster in history. The winner of this race will go on to meet Larry Minor in the finals. Will it be Gary Beck? Will it be Shirley Muldowney? Two of the best racers. One of the hottest rivalries going in drag racing today. Beck against Muldowney. Beck is the last to stage. It's a green light for both cars. They're off the starting line. Shirley losing traction ever so slightly, and Beck pulls away to a strong victory. 5.68 seconds. His speed over 244 miles an hour. As we look again, you can see both cars leaving almost simultaneously. Losing traction ever so slightly, the smoke coming off the tires of Shirley Muldowney's car. That may have cost her the race as Gary Beck pulled ahead all the way to the finish line. He wins with over a car length lead. Gary Beck moving into the Cajun Nationals finals to race his boss.
Larry Minor and Gary Beck, this is a happy, it's just not the proper adjective. I'm not sure there is one to describe the emotion down here. As they know they have won the Cajun Nationals, they know where the check is going. To Top Fuel Eliminators, that's great, Gary.
That's amazing, huh? Well, you know, it started out as something for Larry to play with and just feel what it was really like, but you know, he's taking it real serious now, and he's going to be in this thing all year long. You can bet your boots on that one.
Well, you guys are good. The crew wants to know if they still have to work on these things, even though you own the final.
I think the fans are going to see a race.
All right, you heard it from Gary Beck. The fans will see a race, and it'll have all the emotion that you could ask for as these two good friends, employer and employee, go at one another.
Steve, we're looking forward to that Top Fuel final, but right now it's semifinal funny car racing. The #1 qualifier, Mark Oswald, in the near lane against this man, the winningest funny car racer ever, Don the Snake Prudhomme. What a matchup for the huge crowd at the Cajun Nationals as the big blue machine of Candies and Hughes is based in Houma, Louisiana, just a few miles from State Capitol Raceway. They've made a strong showing here, qualifying in the top position in this, their first full season of funny car racing. The semifinal round will decide which of these cars moves into the final. And off the starting line, it's a great start for Oswald, and look, it's Prudhomme almost into the guardrail, and Mark Oswald goes into the Cajun National final, 6.02 seconds. His speed, 249.99 miles an hour. You can see the two cars leaving together. It's Oswald instantly pulling the lead. He makes the transition from the loss of traction, but Prudhomme does not. He goes out to the edge of the racetrack, very, very close to the guardrail. Mark Oswald wins the race.
So for the second year in a row, Mark Oswald goes into a pro final here at the Cajun Nationals, but this time it's not Top Fuel. It's funny car, and no one has ever made that conversion any smoother than Paul Candies, Leonard Hughes, and this man, Mark Oswald. Good one.
Oh, thank you. Went from no power to too much, but we got down there and won it. That's all that matters.
How fast do you think it went?
Well, it ran pretty good speed, but...
250.
Yeah, I thought it did, but it was smoking the tires. I had to pedal it. That gives us top speed, too.
So you're saying you might take a little power out of it for the final?
Yeah, we had to. Nice race, Don. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'll let you go. Let's talk, if we can. Janie? Come here, Janie Oswald. Congratulations, your man's doing it again.
Yes. Oh, I don't know what to say. I'm wanting to do it here in front of hometown for Paul. And I want us to do it in Columbus for our hometown.
So the Cincinnati driver and the Louisiana car. Good for everybody.
Thank you.
Janie Oswald.
Mark Oswald's new bride has yet to get over being just a little bit camera shy. Janie Oswald quite proud of her new husband as Mark's in the finals. He'll be racing one of these two cars, the Mercury of Kenny Bernstein. The LN7 is against the Pontiac Trans Am of Al Segrini. Both drivers had the opportunity to watch the cars in front of them, and for Al Segrini, who saw Trudeau move out next to the guardrail, that might be on his mind just a bit. Kenny Bernstein, though, has got to be thinking about the engine that they installed between the first round and this race. This new motor for Bernstein, the question is, will it hold up? We'll find out. Al Segrini against Kenny Bernstein. Both cars into the staging beam. Segrini streaks off the starting line into a big lead. He quickly moves ahead of Bernstein. And look at the elapsed time. The quickest ET of eliminations at 6 seconds flat. His speed of over 241 miles an hour. As we go back to the starting line and look again, you'll see Segrini build up a big lead off the line. And as far as the race was concerned, it was all over at that point. Al Segrini continuing to extend his lead and winning the race.
North versus South. Boston versus Louisiana.
Kenny, I talked to Paul Candies before this round. I said, let's have an Atlanta rematch. We raced in Atlanta. And he said, I'm for it. I said, well, I'll try to get by my guy.
Here it comes.
I hope so.
Al Segrini meets Mark Oswald in funny car. Frank Iaconio against Lee Shepard in Pro Stock. And Gary Beck races his car owner in Top Fuel when we come back to the Cajun National.
This high-energy experimental car stays efficient only if its spark plugs stay alive. Plugs capable of surviving surges to 38,000 volts, Motorcraft. Extended tip. Engineered to conserve fuel, Motorcraft Extended Tip ruthlessly eliminates power-blocking sooty carbon without eliminating itself in the process. Quality parts for all makes of cars. Motorcraft exceeds the need.
When America wanted a high-performance radial that could handle wet weather, Goodyear came through with the Eagle GT.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
The high-performance Eagle GT. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1. I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
Beginning Monday, Channel 7 News has more on California's war on marijuana. We'll look at the Attorney General's battle plan. Is it a waste of our tax dollars?
It's an excellent performing fuel.
Oakland is testing a fleet of cars powered by methanol. Do we really need this alternative? Is methanol the fuel of the future? Doctors usually shave their patients before surgery. Why could this be dangerous?
The razor blade causes little nicks and cuts in your skin.
Dr. Dean Adele tells you more starting Monday on Channel 7 News.
Monday, an unseen force attacks a frozen outpost.
I'm afraid that window got him. He froze to death.
He died of boredom.
That's what's been eating you, Robert. You've got no mystery to solve.
But the evil lurking here is turning a mystery into a horror story.
There's something here.
Eli Wallach, Robert Culp.
There's nothing unnatural here or supernatural. There's just you and me.
You really believe that?
Would anyone survive a cold night's death Monday after baseball?
The largest crowd in the history of State Capitol Raceway on their feet, giving a cheer for our hardworking Diamond P Sports cameraman, Jeff Kelsey. Steve Evans has been working hard, too, and has caught up with the principals of the Larry and Gary Show.
Well, I finally got Gary back and Larry Minor here to sit down for a minute. You guys are working awful hard considering you've pretty well won this war. I mean, the money all goes in the same bank account. You're both going to the same restaurant, I would assume, to celebrate. What is at stake here, Gary?
Well, it's an interesting concept, really. I mean, with the car I'm driving, we're after the World Championship, so I got to go for the win. I need the points to cover up. We're not always going to have our day, you know. We're going to have to suffer through the ones where we get beat too.
And Larry, you own both cars, and you won a world title for him as bad as anything.
That's right, Steve. Well, you know, who knows? I know I can't beat Gary Beck flat out driving. You know, everybody says, well, you know, what if it comes down to it? But, you know, I'm going to race the car. You know, I'm a tenth to 2 cents slower than him. But, you know, we're not going to throw the race, but I'm going to just give it the best shot I can.
Well, our top fuel finalists head for their cars. The Pro Stock final is on the line. Lee Shepard driving the Rare and Morrison Camaro in the near lane. Frank Iaconio in a similar Camaro in the far lane. Number 1 in the world last season, the reigning world champion Lee Shepard has got to be considered the favorite as he upset the top qualifier in the semifinals. But don't discount Frank Iaconio. He finished number 2 to Shepard last year in the World Championship points chase. A good start. The wheels in the air for Iaconio, but look at Shepard move. He heads down the racetrack and to another victory, adding to his long string. Shepard wins the Pro Stock title at a 7.76 seconds. His speed, 177 miles an hour. Back on the starting line, the nitro-burning thunder of Funny Car Eliminator. The hometown favorite of Fall Candies and Leonard Hughes, with Mark Oswald driving against the Massachusetts-based car of Al Segrini. Every eye is watching the starting line because this is their hometown king, Mark Oswald. He is defending Top Fuel champion, but he moved into Funny Car this season and is off to a great start. The staging process completed, and a great start for both cars. Side by side, a little smoke coming off the tires. Segrini pulls ahead, and Al Segrini wins it. 6.11 seconds elapsed time. His speed, 243 miles an hour. Segrini and Oswald as the tree goes green, leaving the starting line side by side. At the same time, they smoke the tires, losing traction. But it is Segrini who appears to have recovered best, and he pulls ahead of Oswald at mid-course. He holds that margin all the way to the finish line, and the Funny Car champion title.
Well, this has got to be Al Segrini's finest ever season in professional drag racing. That is his second major NHRA championship this year. First the Winter Nationals, and now the Cajun Nationals. Al Segrini, congratulations.
I'll tell you, I thought it'd be a driver's race. Heck of a race.
You left first.
Yeah, I left first. I had it up in the air one time. I pedaled her once. I think it shook and got him loose a little bit, and then it recovered good.
A lot to do in 5 seconds.
Yeah, I knew he was coming. That car can run 250 so easy. I said, this kid, he'll chase me right down to the next state. I said, I'm not lifting. I was on it all the way. I said, he's coming. I know he is.
It has to be the dream of every racing team, regardless of motorsport, to finish first and second at any event, and that's just what will happen when Larry Miner, the car owner, goes up against his driver, Gary Beck. Beck is in the near lane, Miner in the far lane. The cars look very similar, both running very strong. And it's Miner out first. The blower belt comes off Beck's car. He slows down. Now Miner is slowing and slowing, trying to stop. Can Beck catch him? He does not. What a surprise. Larry Miner wins Top Fuel Eliminator at only 63 miles an hour. We'll be right back to the Cajun National.
When America wanted a go-anywhere radial for light trucks, Goodyear came through with the all-season Wrangler.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
The go-anywhere Wrangler. One good reason why Goodyear outsells all the foreign radials combined.
I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1. I've got Goodyear. I'm riding on #1.
Get tough. Protect your car with McGuire's lifetime polysealant system. Tough protection from polymer technology and 50 years of professional car wax experience. McGuire's, a blend of tough polymers, expensive waxes, and silicone. Get McGuire's Deep Shine in one easy step. A shine so tough, we dare to give you a guarantee for the life of your car. McGuire's in liquid or paste.
Everything you need to know. Channel 7 KGO. Information you can use. It's all on Channel 7 News. Channel 7 goes everywhere for everything the world has got to show. For everything you need to know. Channel 7 KGO.
Channel 7 News.
Back at the Cajun Nationals, Steve Evans is with the winner of that unusual top fuel race.
Well, congratulations, I guess. It's kind of a bittersweet victory, unfortunately, for you with your battle plan for the year.
Yeah, it didn't really turn out the way I wanted it.
You wanted to have a good race to the lights, but hit and win, kind of.
Yeah, really, and I left. The cars left good together, and this thing was on a good pass, and then I saw Beck drop back, and so I just hit the brakes, really, you know. I mean, I wanted him to win, but the
blower belt came off his car much too soon.
I know, and I coasted and beat him. That's not the way I wanted it, but well,
you dominated. There's the first two-car team in many, many years to dominate a single eliminator category as you did today, and we congratulate you on that.
We thank you, and we feel good, really. It's
I expect that trophy will look just as good on your mantle as it does on his.
I guess I can get one.
So it'll be a pleasant trip back to California for all of these guys with the success you enjoyed this weekend.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
A somewhat reluctant top fuel champion, Larry Minor. For Steve Evans, I'm Dave McClellan saying so long from Baton Rouge. The Cajun Nationals has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, and proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Goodyear, makers of Wrangler all-season radials for light trucks. And by Brute. Make every day your Brute Day with Brute by Fabergé. Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by Pontiac. Check it out, the Pontiac 2000 with 5-speed transmission, overhead cam engine, and electronic fuel injection, all standard. And by Pontiac Trans Am. Excitement, feel the sting as the road yields to the power in your 1983 Trans Am sets you free, as only Trans Am can. Pontiac. And by Bardol. After being treated with Bardol, this car was driven 114 miles with no oil in the crankcase. Use Bardol regularly, it could save your engine. And by Pontiac. Excitement is Pontiac 6000 for 1983. American technology, European sophistication, world class. Pontiac. The executive producer for Diamond B Sports is Harvey M. Pally. Produced and directed by John B. Mullen.